Hi, Phil.
Hello, Arthur.
Are you ready to enter the storm? Or the
The
Nexus? Or
the
the
next.
Hearthstone? Or
Oh,
something?
Hearthstone. Are we playing Hearthstone? Yeah, let's do this.
There is a Hearthstone in this game,
Well,
but there are no cards.
yeah. Then I'm not so interested.
Yeah, well,
I've played a little bit of Heroes of the Storm, but not nearly as much as you have, Arthur. And also, I just don't know as much about MOBAs. Is that what they're called?
yeah, I've heard some other names, but MOBA seems to be the most consistent term for them, and that is what Heroes of the Storm is.
What is this that we're looking at, and how does it work?
So this is a friend and I queuing into a quick match game, which
Sure.
is how you will be playing Heroes of the Storm for probably the first 30 to 40 hours of it, which is unfortunate because right away, Heroes of the Storm differs from other MOBAs in that instead of queuing into a match and being grouped with people and grouped against other people and then picking opponents against each other, you pick a character and queue.
Sure.
And then it puts you with other people that have picked their characters and queues you with them. So
Sure.
this right now is the first glance I've had at who I will be playing with, like the characters I will be teamed up with.
And
So,
does it not sort of like add you up like based on roles?
No, not that I can tell. I've had a couple people say that it's supposed to do that, but the team compositions that I have had have seemed really ill-considered
Sure.
and not particularly meshed together all the time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I wonder if part of it too is like it seems like roles in general are a little bit different or handled a little differently in this game in the sense that unlike other MOBAs, Heroes of the Storm is not just one map or not mainly one map.
One of the immediate weird things about Heroes of the Storm is that like the fights tend to start right away, as you can see here. Like this is like 18 seconds into the game, and it's also a fairly massive 5-on-5. The role system of other MOBAs, like the sort of breakdown between supports and cores and gankers and things like that, that doesn't feel as stratified, as calcified in Heroes of the Storm as it does in those other MOBAs, and I don't.
Yeah, because you have other goals in a lot of the maps, right? Like you're trying to fulfill other objectives in addition to just pushing into the other team's base at some point.
Yeah, although I don't know that that's why that's the case or not. I just know that so far the heroes just aren't really as cleanly broken down as they are in other MOBAs, and sometimes it feels like it suffers a little bit for that,
Sure.
because it can be really hard to know what a good team composition is. And unlike the other MOBAs that I mentioned, like Dota or League, like you're picking your characters in quick match before you're queuing up. So
Yeah.
you're not planning for contingencies, you're just playing the game and hoping for the best, which is different in Hero League, which is the ranked equivalent in Heroes of the Storm, which I have not made it to, because you have to be level 30 to reach that, which can
And
take
that seems like it takes some time.
an awful long time. And you also need to own 10 heroes.
Sure, and that in and of itself takes some time or money.
Yes.
Because that is one of the interesting things about this. They're not using the Dota style of all
No.
heroes are unlocked. They are using the League of Legends style of you have to actually. There's a rotating list of free heroes
Yes.
every week. Every week, is it?
Yes, every week I believe there is a new list of free-to-play heroes, and
Sure.
you will see those heroes pop up. Like their prevalence will increase when those are the heroes that are available.
And then if you want to purchase them, you can either pay real money, purchase them to play at any point. You can either pay real money or you can pay the in-game currency. But the in-game currency, it seems like takes some time.
It's
to
a
build that
very
up.
slow burn. Like you might earn like 100 or 200 credits after playing a match, which takes between 15 and 35 minutes. And there are challenges, just like there are in Hearthstone, for playing certain characters. Like there might be a challenge to play 3 supports in a game, or in a certain amount of time.
These are basically like daily quests, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
although they can last a little bit longer, I think, than a daily quest. And something you'll notice, like, one thing about the characters in this game is that, like, I think that everybody is still learning them. There are some interesting variations on MOBA design right now. One of our characters is Abathur, who people who played StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm might recognize. who doesn't lane the way that other heroes do. He sort of stays back and augments other heroes, which is very interesting and weird. But anyway,
well, and another big change. I mean, you know, there's a lot to talk about, obviously,
Yes.
with this game, and we're just kind of hitting it as we go here. But another big difference between this and other MOBAs is you're not leveling up your heroes individually either. You're leveling up as a team.
yes.
And then rather than collecting gold and purchasing items, you are, as you level up, you're purchasing these, or you're setting certain skills.
You're getting talents is what
Talents,
they
that's
call
what they
them, which augment existing skills. And at level 10, you get to choose an ultimate, and everybody has 2 to choose from.
Yeah.
Although, another sort of quirky thing about Heroes of the Storm is that each individual character in your collection has a level. And until
like an overall level.
Yes, and until you level them up, certain things will not be available to you.
Yeah, which I found very frustrating in the limited amount that I've played.
Right.
You know, I had one of the starting characters who was free for the week that I played. I think it was just Raynor from StarCraft.
Right, yeah, that sounds right.
Went into did an AI match, was feeling fine. Went into a couple of regular matches and did terrible. And then just when I talked about it on Twitter, it just had a lot of people saying like, well, you've got to play AI matches until you level up to have all your stuff unlocked.
Yeah,
like, that's
which
not very fun.
Kinda sucks because the AI matches are not fun. The AI in this game is not good.
Yeah, it's so easy, and it doesn't feel like it's preparing you at all for real battles, which is not shocking. I mean, I feel like it's the same way with League of Legends AI or even Dota AI.
I haven't played a ton of League and I haven't played any AI matches, so I can't speak to the way that AI works. Dota is interesting in its bots matches in that they can be very good mechanically, but their strategy sucks. So there are pros and cons. I play a lot of bot matches in Dota to learn heroes, to learn the way they work, to experiment with item builds. I think I'm about to get wasted here.
No.
But yeah, so you earn coins through challenges, but it can take a long time. In the process of reviewing this, I was given 60,000 coins by Blizzard, which seems like a lot, right?
That does seem
seems
like
like
a lot.
about $60 worth of Blizzard bucks. And I think I own maybe 9 characters.
That doesn't seem like a lot.
No.
How many are in the game at this point?
I think around 40. I would need to check the game to be sure. They're adding,
and it seems like they're adding them at a pretty fast clip. Like they're adding them like one every couple of months or so.
I would say that sounds about right. Although, like, I think that could speed up depending.
Sure.
Yeah. But that's, I mean, the problem for Heroes of the Storm in that regard is that you'll see here, my friend and I are coordinating to turn in coins because that's the objective on this map. And we just got our ults, so you're about to see me pick my ult. This is the first time I've played this character, Vala. She's the demon hunter from Diablo. She's a pretty easy character to play, and I got a lot of kills this game.
Yeah, no, it seems like you're doing good.
That
Ranged certainly helps.
Yeah, there are difficulty levels for each hero.
Yeah, to give you kind of a sense of like, if you're a beginner, maybe you want to play one of the easier heroes.
Yeah, like some just require a lot more sort of finesse to use properly, or more situational. Vala is just, you click on things and she kills them. And I mean, I like this character. She's a lot of fun to play, but... so yeah, the progression at which you get stuff, at which you earn levels, which you earn hero levels... it slows down dramatically over time, and that's sort of one of my biggest concerns with this game, is that I've been playing for about 35 or 40 hours, and I still don't have access to ranked. And when I've spoken on Twitter about some of my concerns about the game and the way that you pick characters, I have a lot of people that tell me, well, you know, Heroes League changes everything, and that may be fine and good, but I have to play the game for I don't know how long to get access to that.
Yeah.
And Blizzard actually offered us sort of debugged test accounts to play ranked with, and I didn't take them up on that offer because I want to know what it takes to get those things.
Yeah, I mean, if you're reviewing it and like at this point they already, you know, gave you X amount of money.
Right. I'm already way ahead of the curve just by virtue of having that gold.
like, so at a certain point, like, it makes sense if you're trying to review it from the perspective of the average consumer. You're not going to want to, like, just jump ahead. And I agree with you. Like, it's cool, like, that mode exists, and maybe it really does change things, and maybe it changes them for the better greatly. But that doesn't make it less frustrating that it takes that long to get there. Especially, like, you're somebody, Arthur, who you love MOBAs, and you're probably not super upset to be sticking this many hours into a MOBA. But, like, for me, I play them very casually. Getting to the point where I've even unlocked that could take, like, a year.
Which is kind of interesting because, like, the sort of positioning that I'm seeing for Heroes of the Storm is that it's the casual MOBA. Like,
yeah.
Because in many ways it is very stripped down from, especially from Dota 2, which is sort of like the complicated one, and League of Legends, which up until now has been the more accessible one.
Yeah.
There are lanes like there are in any other MOBA, but the idea of character-specific experience points and gold are absent. There's no last-hitting creeps like to get extra gold.
Another interesting point to bring up too is the maps themselves. So, like, you've talked about some of the objective stuff just briefly, but one of the interesting things is that different maps, and there are different maps in the game, and different maps not only have different layouts but different bonus objectives.
Sure, yeah.
And those can really wildly sort of swing the way that a battle is going.
How you respond to objectives in this game can really make or break your team. And yeah, that is... I think that... I mean, there are objectives aside from just killing other people in Dota and League of Legends. Dota has... Roshan in League of Legends has something similar, and there are towers to kill, and, like, the ultimate goal, like Heroes of the Storm, is to kill the Ancient or the Nexus or the home tower. But the thing about Heroes of the Storm that I think is interesting is that both League of Legends and Dota have item shops. There's that sort of RPG element of getting gold and spending it on gear over the course of a game, and sort of having that progression. Anyone on this character screen you see with a little Heroes of the Storm icon on them are in the free rotation right now.
Oh, sure.
So there are 6 free characters. But I've bought Zeratul, and I like Zeratul because I like StarCraft, so I'm about to play him.
Zeratul's cool guy.
So there are no items to buy, and in Dota and League, the items serve sort of several purposes, one of which is that they provide a level of flexibility and sort of openness to characters that you might not otherwise get. And so they are a way of responding to the way that the other team is playing, and the heroes they draft and the way they play them. And in this, the only thing you have are the characters you pick, and to a lesser extent, the traits that you select.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like there's as much flexibility to respond to a bad draft to sort of compensate for an inferior draft, and especially in quick match, that's a problem because you don't know what the other team has.
And one of the things that I've heard, the developers behind this game talk about as well is with the map, the whole element of maps and of different objectives for different maps, is that not only do you now have, like, certain heroes who might be counters for other heroes like you would in another MOBA, but you have certain heroes who might work better on certain maps.
Right, exactly. Heroes. Yeah.
And that brings in this whole other level of complexity for when you almost want to still have the hero select, but also want to know what map you're going into.
Right. And I think that all of that, and the absence of items and the multiple maps and the sort of absence of a draft and quick match except in, like, Hero League, really puts a lot of extra pressure on hero balance, like just very basic hero balance. And it's really hard to know what that's like right now. And it puts an overwhelming amount of pressure on those heroes to be balanced, and I don't know that they are. Like, there's just certain heroes right now that seem really, really excessively powerful for certain maps, and certain heroes just seem kind of useless. Like, a lot of supports don't necessarily seem like they've got a good place in many games unless they're with another hero specifically. And there's no sort of, or there's much less room to change what those heroes are and what they do. And right now I'm about to die because I fucked up.
Yeah.
My positioning was pretty bad right there.
Yeah, I saw that. We're being pretty critical right now, although and I don't know if this is how you feel. I will say I definitely don't. From the time that I've spent with Heroes of the Storm, I don't feel like it is a bad game.
No, and I like the thing is
and
that
I feel like there's even I would even go so far as to say, like, not shocking coming from Blizzard, but I feel like there is room for this to be a very good game eventually.
Yes.
I may not feel like it's there quite yet.
I think that every Blizzard game evolves over time, and I don't think this game is going to be any different. And I think that there are certain things that it gets very right. I think that a lot of the heroes are really cool, and their powers are really fun to use, and to be honest, I mean, like, this is MOBA's coming home. Like, the original Defense of the Ancients was a mod for Warcraft 3. Like, it was based on those characters, and
well, and I'll say, as a kind of casual MOBA fan, but somebody who loves Blizzard games, there is something really nice about having this giant list of characters
that are familiar,
and being familiar with the characters.
Yeah,
and it gives you a better sense of, like, when I'm picking a character, I may not have played that character before, but just knowing the character, I have a little bit of a starting of a sense of, like, this is the type of character they're probably on.
Sure, yeah, and I think that that's really cool, and this is, I like feeling like a badass as these characters that you typically don't get to see behave this way, like right now.
Nice.
I think that there are moments where this game really comes together, and I think that it's mechanically sound. Like, it controls pretty well. I think that there's some weirdness with the camera, and I don't like the UI. I think that the map is too big. I think the UI in general is too big. And
yeah, I can see that.
And I don't think that that really makes it more playable. I just think it makes it more confusing.
Well, especially with, like, it feels, the camera also feels a little, like, zoomed in maybe more than necessary.
Sure, yeah.
It's hard to say.
That I think that like really boils down to personal preference, and it's different from MOBA to MOBA. And I think that there are some really interesting ideas in Heroes of the Storm, like the fact that towers in Heroes of the Storm, which are the things that are shooting at us as we try to destroy them, have ammunition. Like, they can't fire forever, which is very much how things work in Dota and League of Legends. And there is a vast simplification of the way that damage works. And in Dota, as an example, spells typically don't affect towers or structures. Like, you can't lifesteal from destroying a building, and in this, all damage is treated basically the same.
Yeah.
So I can cast my spells on a wall and do damage to it, which seems like a minor thing, but it's really not. Like,
that's a game changer.
It's not only like a small difference; it could have just enormous potential changes to what the meta of that game is moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
so. This is going to be an interesting one. It's going to be an interesting challenge for you, Arthur, because you are reviewing this for us. I feel like this is one of those games, like, we've been doing review updates on Polygon for a long time.
Yeah.
But more than any other, this is going to be an interesting game to come back to. You know.
I think it's something that
a year down the road.
I'm gonna have to come back to pretty regularly. I think that I will have a review up for the launch of this game. But it's going to be provisional because we don't know how it's going to fare when it's, quote, in access. And I haven't played ranked, and that can seriously affect the way that I feel about the game. But I think for the first 40 or so hours, you're going to have to deal with some frustration unless you're playing with friends all the time.
And I have no friends.
Yeah, well, you know, it's hard to get people into another multiplayer game.
It's
really
hard to
is.
get people to like me.
Well,
to be honest,
that I totally understand, but
yeah.
You know, so we'll just have to sort of play it by ear. But for now, I think that it's an interesting, sort of accessible MOBA for new players. But I definitely think that it's not perfect, and Blizzard has a lot of work to do.
Boom.